is played by a young man named Daniel Williams. Daniel is probably 6 feet tall. Blonde hair, longer blonde hair.
Audio description. Our motto is say what you see. It's a verbal representation of the visual presentation that's on stage. The overall kind of big objective is to make theater available for everybody. So the whole idea is equality, freedom for everyone to make their own choices, not based on their disability or their difficulty, but based on their desire. I want to see that show, or I don't want to see that show, but not, I'd like to see the show, but I can't because I don't get anything out of it. We don't want that to happen. Denny Hitchcock heard about this going on at a place on the East Coast called the Paper Mill Playhouse in New Jersey. They were doing this practice. He thought it would be a great thing to have here. So he put out a call, much like any other audition, for people who would like to audition to become audio describers. A number of us answered the call, and we did a short audition based on having viewed a scene from a movie in this case. We viewed the scene a few times, made whatever notes we needed to make, and then actually did a description of that scene. Okay. Kind of real live action doing it. And then those were submitted to the man at the Paper Mill Playhouse who does audio description out there, or did at that time anyway in the 70s. And he evaluated, he chose 7 of us to be the audio describers. Then he actually came to the Quad Cities and for several days trained us in detail how to do this. Because our audition was kind of off the cuff and with a few general rules, you know. But it was mainly like any audition to show promise as much as anything. And so he came to town, trained us, and there we went. We were in it. For a number of years I was the only person doing audio description. And then Jonathan Graft expressed an interest, and so I trained him, and now we both share the duties. At Music Guild we volunteer because I've been at Music Guild for, gosh, almost 40 years, since the 70s, I mean, for almost 30 some years, 30 plus years. And I love this place. One of the aspects of being allowing people to make their own choices is to not editorialize. So for example, I could not say he's a very handsome man, she's a very beautiful woman, something like that, because that judgment is different for every person. What you think is beautiful, I may not think. You describe it very clinically, then you'll say she has large blue eyes, red pouty lips, high cheekbones, long shoulder length silky hair. And you describe aspects that allow them, much like any of us, only we do it visually. They're doing it orally. And they're saying, okay, that sounds like a pretty attractive woman to me. And same for men, you know, a square jaw, thick dark hair, broad shoulders, muscular arms, without saying he's good looking. Then they're hearing that and they're saying, okay, that's good looking, or that's not my kind of guy. They can make that choice for themselves. And that's a hard thing to get used to, because you want to right away say beautiful, or funny, or you know, use an adjective to describe somebody, and we really try not to do that. We can either videotape the show, take it home and study it, or come to multiple rehearsals and study it. Videotape has become a little bit easier. Otherwise, it takes roughly, well, it should take roughly 10 hours or so to prepare for one of these. We usually have a script from the show, and we'll make notes off in the margins, just like the actors do with their blocking notes. We'll make notes off in the margin, because it does take a little bit of work and expertise to whittle your description down to 2 words. So I can just say, close this door, picks up phone. Something short like that, so that I'm not stepping on the lines that come from the actors. So it does take some preparation. So we'll spend time then, hours with the videotape, stopping and starting, making notes. In the theater, on the show, the hard thing, I guess, is to find a way to relate to people who have never seen. Some people, we have all levels. Some people have limited sight, some can see blurry images, some can see absolutely nothing at all, but maybe they had sight until a certain age and then lost it. Others have been blind since birth and have no frame of reference. Good example is one time I was describing some costuming and I said that a particular piece of clothing was rust in color. They said, what's rust? Okay, it's red and brown together. What's brown? And I realized how much I assume that I can't assume. So then I had to find a middle ground. What is some ground that everyone comprehends? Emotion. So red is the color of fire. It's the color of passion. It's the color of emergency and alarm. So if you're doing Damn Yankees and Lola's wearing a red dress, well, I've said that red is the color of passion, so that says something about her character. Blue is peaceful, is soft, it's the color of sky, it's the color of water. relate it to an emotion, because that's something everyone can feel. So that's a challenge sometimes, is to assume too much and to find a way to go really back to zero and a common ground that anyone can understand, so that that description means something to them.
Quad City Music Guild provides audio description on the second Saturday of performances. For spring and winter performances, audio description is provided Saturday. For more information, visit www.qcmusicguild.com or call our box office at 309-762-6610.